Alright, good evening class. We're going to continue on with our discussion tonight on matrix multiplication. So remember in class we talked about how when we multiply two matrices, you're going to multiply the elements of each row of the first matrix times each element of the second matrix, and then you're going to add the products. So before we do that, remember we need to check if we can multiply this. I have a 2 by 2 times a 2 by 2. Remember, we need to make sure that the columns in the first matrix is equal to the rows in the second, which it is. And then I know that when I multiply this out, my resulting matrix is going to be a 2 by 2. Okay, so let's get started. So I am going to multiply row 1 times column 1 here. Row 1 times column 1. So I'm going to have negative 1 times 6, and then plus 4 times negative 1. Then I'm going to do row 1 times column 2. So negative 1 times 1 plus 4 times negative 5. I'm going to do column 2, row 2 times column 1. So I have 5 times 6 plus 5 times negative 1. And I'm going to do row 2 times column 2. So that's going to be 5 times 1 plus 5 times negative 5. Okay. So now I'm going to simplify. Negative 1 times 6 is negative 6 plus negative 4. Negative 1 plus negative 20. 5 and 6 is 30 plus negative 5. And then 5 plus negative 25. So my resulting matrix, again, I'm going to simplify it. Negative 6 is negative 10. Negative 1 and 20 is negative 21. 30 and 5 is positive 25, and 5 and 25 is negative 20. So this is my matrix here. This is your answer here. And it is a 2 by 2 matrix, is what I said. Okay, so let's look at example 2. Example 2, I have a 2 row by 2 columns, and then this is a times a 3 row by 2 columns. Okay, when I look at here, my number of rows in the first matrix does not equal the number of columns in the second one, so this one is undefined. It cannot be multiplied, and that's your answer there. So we don't have to multiply that one. So let's move on to example 3 here. So example 3 here, I have a 2 row by 3 column times a 3 row by 1 column. So this is good. So my inside numbers are equal, and then I'm going to wind up with a 2 by 1 matrices. So I'm going to start, I'm going to multiply row 1 by column 1. So I'm going to have negative 6 times negative 3 plus 2 times 4 plus 2 times 4. Remember your corresponding elements. The first one in this row, first one in the column. Second one in the row, second one in the column. Third one in the row, third one in the column. Okay, so let's do the second row here. So I have negative 4 times negative 3 plus 5 times 4 plus negative 5 times 4. Okay, so let's simplify this. Negative 6 and negative 3 gives me positive 18 plus 8 plus 8. Okay. I skipped it. This was a negative 1. I'm sorry. So this should be negative 1 times 4. Okay. So that's going to be plus negative 4. Alright. Sorry about that. Okay, so the second one would be negative 4 times negative 3, which is going to be positive 12 plus 20. And negative 5 plus 1 is going to be plus negative 20. Okay, so my matrix here is going to be 18 plus 8 is 26, then minus 4 is going to give me positive 22. 12 plus 20 minus 20 is going to give me 12. So my resulting matrix here is 22 and 12. Okay, so let's look at number 4. Okay, so number 4, we have a 2 by 2, 2 rows, 2 columns, times a 2 row by 3 columns. So my inside numbers are equal, and I know that I'm going to wind up with a 2 by 3 matrix. So we're going to multiply this row 1 times column 1. So I have negative 3 times 5 plus 1 times negative 2. Then I'm going to multiply row 1 times column 2, so negative 3 times negative 4 plus 1 times negative 4. And then row 1 times column 3, negative 3 times negative 2 plus 1 times 1. Okay, so let's multiply row 2 by column 1, negative 1 times 5 plus negative 2 times negative 2. Then negative 1 times negative 4 plus negative 2 times negative 4. And then the last column, we have negative 1 times negative 2 plus negative 2 times 1. Okay, so this would be my matrix. And now we need to simplify. So negative 3 times 5 is negative 15 plus negative 2. Negative 3 times 4 is positive 12 plus negative 4. Negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6 plus 1. Negative 1 times 5 is negative 5. And then negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Negative 1 times 4 is going to be positive 4 plus 8. Because negative 2 times negative 4 is 8. And then negative 1, 2 is 2 plus negative 2. Okay. Okay, so let's simplify this. Negative 15 plus negative 2 is going to give me negative 17. 12 plus negative 4 is positive 8. 6 and 1 is 7. Negative 5 plus 4 is going to give me negative 1. 4 and 8 is 12. And then 2 plus negative 2 is 0. Okay guys, I hope you found this video helpful and that it reinforced what we did in class today. And then I want you to turn over the problem, and on the back you have 2 problems, 5 and 6, that I need you to complete on your own, and I will be checking these 2 for completion for tomorrow. And have a good night. See you in the morning.